An empire rose from the shadows of the ancient world, not through chaos, but through vision. Before ancient Rome, before Alexander the Great, there was a power so vast, so organized. It redefined what an empire could be. This was the story of the Achaemenid Empire. And it began with one man, Cyrus the Great. If you want to understand how the modern world learned to govern vast nations, manage diversity, and rule without constant rebellion, this is where it begins. If you are new to historical truth, subscribe now. Because history isn't just the past, it explains the present. Cyrus was not born into dominance. He was born into a fragmented land, Persia, a region under the control of the Median Empire. Small, overlooked, controlled, but Cyrus saw something others did not. He didn't just want to rule land. He wanted to unite people. Around 550 BC, Cyrus led a rebellion against the Medes. But this wasn't just another violent uprising. It was calculated, strategic, swift. And when he won, he did something no conqueror had done before. He didn't destroy the Medes, he absorbed them. Their leaders were spared. Their systems were integrated. Their identity was preserved. This was not conquest. This was construction. What followed was a campaign unlike anything the ancient world had ever seen. Cyrus turned west. He defeated Lydia, one of the richest kingdoms of the time, ruled by King Croesus, a man so wealthy his name became synonymous with riches. Then he turned south, Babylon, one of the greatest cities in human history, massive walls, advanced civilization, cultural dominance. But Cyrus did not storm Babylon in a bloodbath. Instead, in 539 BC, his forces entered the city with minimal resistance. And once again, he chose a different path. He freed enslaved peoples. He allowed exiled communities to return home. Among them were the Jewish people, held in captivity for decades. This act was recorded in what many consider one of the earliest declarations of human rights. The Cyrus Cylinder. Cyrus was not just building an empire, he was redefining power. At its height, the Persian Empire stretched across 3 continents, from the Indus Valley to Egypt to the edges of Greece. It became the largest empire the world had ever seen. But size alone does not sustain power, structure does, and Persia mastered it. The empire was divided into provinces called satrapies, each governed by a satrap, a regional leader responsible for order, taxes, and loyalty. But here, what made it different? The king didn't blindly trust them, he watched them. A network of royal inspectors, known as the king's eyes and ears, ensured that no governor grew too powerful or corrupt. Power was centralized, but monitored. Then came infrastructure. The royal road stretched over 2,500 kilometers. Messengers could carry information across the empire in days instead of weeks. Trade expanded. Communication accelerated. The empire moved as one. But perhaps the greatest strength of the Persian Empire was not its army or its roads, it was its tolerance. Different cultures, religions, languages. Instead of forcing uniformity, Persia allowed diversity. As long as taxes were paid and order was maintained, people were free to live as they wished. This reduced rebellion. It created stability. It made people accept Persian rule. But no empire rises without challenge, and Persia's greatest test came from the west. The Greek city-states, small, divided, but fiercely independent. Conflict was inevitable. Under Darius I, Persia attempted to expand into Greece. But in 490 BC, at the Battle of Marathon, the Persians were defeated. It was a shock. Then came Xerxes I, determined to succeed where his father had failed. He launched one of the largest invasions the world had ever seen. Hundreds of thousands of troops. The clash at Thermopylae became legend. A small Greek force led by King Leonidas held back the Persian army in a narrow pass. But eventually Persia pushed through. And yet, victory slipped away. At Salamis, the Persian navy was crushed. At Plataea, their land forces were defeated for the first time. Persia had met resistance it could not overcome. The empire remained powerful, but something had changed. Expansion slowed, control became harder. Internal pressures grew, leadership weakened. And then a new force emerged from Macedon, led by a young king with an unstoppable ambition. Alexander the Great. In 334 BC, Alexander invaded Persian territory. Battle after battle, Persia fell. At Issus, at Gaugamela, the Persian army, once unstoppable, collapsed. And in 330 BC, the empire that had ruled the world was no more. But here's what most people miss. Persia didn't just disappear. Its ideas survived: administrative systems, infrastructure, cultural tolerance. These concepts influenced every empire that came after. Even Roman Empire adopted elements of Persian governance. So when we talk about the Persian Empire, we're not just talking about a lost civilization. We're talking about the foundation of how large, diverse societies are governed even today. Empires fall, but ideas endure. If this story changed how you see history, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Historical Truth. Because the past is never truly gone. It lives in the systems, the conflicts, and the world we see today. And this is only the beginning.